Thanks.
Yeah.
We're doing. All right, welcome everyone. I got 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get the meeting started. Welcome to the October Planning Commission meeting. Commissioner Lowe is going to open us in prayer and I'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Put private name. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for any blessing you give us. Thank you for the opportunity for us to come together and be like this. Be with us tonight. We go through this agenda to help us review things, make sound and fair assessment. Be with us tonight as we leave.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Let's go ahead and open the Board of Adjustment meeting. A roll call, please.
Bird. Here. Prater.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Cloudy.
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Lowe.
Here.
All right, we got 6 present, got a quorum. I just want to go ahead and get the meeting minutes from last month approved. I got September 2022 Board of Adjustment meeting minutes. Any corrections or amendments? Please let me know. If not, I'd recommend a motion to approve. A motion to approve from Commissioner Prater. Go to second. Second from Commissioner Lowe. Roll call, please.
Bird. Yes. Lowe.
Yes.
Prater.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Cloudy. Matt.
All right, those are approved. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get into the new business for Board of Adjustment. We got one item, item A. Laura.
709 South Pine Street Building Design Variance. Variance to allow for shipping containers for finished building facade in lieu of the required building design standards. Open consulting.
Now, Laura. The other Laura.
We did receive an email from the applicant today asking that this item would be tabled to the November.
All right, can I get a motion to table this item?
Motion.
Motion from Commissioner Byrd, a second from Commissioner Lowe. Roll call vote, please.
Bird. Yes. Lowe.
Yes.
Prater.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Cloudy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the Board of Adjustment meeting and we'll go back over into the Planning Commission meeting. If we could, let's go ahead and do a roll call for that.
Bird. Here. Prater.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Cloudy. Matt.
Here.
Ward. Lowe.
All right, 6-0. So let's go ahead and get approval of the meeting minutes from last month. Any corrections or amendments? Stand none. If I can get a motion to approve those. Motion from Commissioner Lowe. Second from Commissioner Prater. A roll call vote, please.
Bird. Yes. Lowe.
Yes.
Prater.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Cloudy.
Yes.
Matt.
All right, those minutes are approved. Thank you. So let's go ahead and get into the public hearing for the Planning Commission meeting. It is 7:03 and we'll open the public hearing. First item on the agenda, Kim.
Rezone 400 Mount Carmel from R1 to R4H. Charlie Garrett.
All right, Laura, would you provide the staff report, please?
Yes, this property is located at 400 Mount Carmel Road. The applicant is requesting a rezone from R1 single family residential to R4 high density multifamily. The subject property is located along Highway 321, which is also known as Mount Carmel Road, in the corner of Dieter's Lane. The property is approximately 3.04 acres in size. Again, as you can see in the packet, there was a site sketch submitted that shows a 250 by 50 proposed apartment building with some approximate location of parking and approximate location of an entrance and exit off of 321, as well as an entrance exit off of Deer's Lane. We are unsure of how many dwelling units are being proposed. However, an R4H only allows 24 units per acre, which this property again is just over 3 acres. So the max dwelling units on this property could only be 72 units. As you can see, and through the consideration, there are different. This is a high density request that is up against the surrounding property of being R1 single family on the zoning graphic of the current property that surrounds it. And then along Peters Lane, that property is actually outside the city limits. On our future land use map, you'll see that there is a portion of the property to the west that is future for office and quiet business, as well as on the corner of the Rich's property, actually only future land use is proposed for general commercial. We have the applicant here that can answer any questions that you may have, but that is the staff report for this proposed rezone.
All right, thank you, Laura. Is the applicant here? Would please state your name and address?
Carly Garrett, I represent Fred Wickman project. What you're seeing here is the last case scenario was what actually is. The thing we had ample time to go get it from the thing. Actually, we want to be able to fund it. Next step down would be two things. Last thing. Nothing that would downgrade anybody's property. Great. So. Actually, we will let people in there better off. But. Any questions, anybody got?
Okay, Charlie, thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
This proposed building that you got drawn here, that 250 by 50, is that for the whole 3 acres?
Yeah. Yeah, and like I say, that is the worst case scenario, anything that's put on the product.
So you're talking about condos, like how many condos are you talking about? I mean, when you say worst case scenario, I know that this was what you had to sketch out, but what's your actual plan?
With that is, what I can't answer for the, I don't think that's what. Print on one. Bottom out on there. I haven't seen. Anything we can put on there, don't come back.
Yeah, Charlie, if you can get closer to the mic, just to,
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything that we decide that we'd like to put on there, we'll have to come back in front of it again. Be shot down at any point in time. You know, we're just asking, is it feasible, is it possible to do anything besides build them? That's all we need to know.
gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions for Charlie? Anyone here to speak against this item? If you would, please come up. State your name and address. You could give us about 2-3 minutes.
My name is Stephen Miles. I live at 3 Kings Road, which is right off of Mount Carmel. I'm here to ask ladies, gentlemen, the commission, seriously consider leaving this as a residential zone, not a commercial zone. We have lived there 30 years myself, right down the street. I know the traffic that's there. I know it's a wonderful residential community that we're all proud of, and we'd all like to keep it that way. We realize that it is a piece of property that will someday have homes or something referred to as homes on that property. Just wanted to stand up and speak out for our community that, and I speak for a lot of people that live in there, people there probably want to say and echo the same thing I have, but we want to ask the commission to seriously consider leaving this down.
Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Anyone else here to speak either for or against this item? Thank you.
Hey, good morning, sir, or good afternoon, I'm sorry, good evening. Garrett Nelson from Trade Winds Drive.
Garrett Nelson.
Yes, sir, Garrett Nelson, Trade Winds.
Okay.
A few questions, the attorney probably gonna have to get involved in some of these. Mr. Hoover, good to see you again, by the way. So Cabot City ordinances, specifically section 5.1.1 talks about how for it to be R1 to protect and conserve the value of buildings and improvements and minimize adverse impact on 20 and nearby properties. So in the paperwork that they submitted, this translation submitted, and we're going to change this from R1 to R4H. They talked about it being in floodplain, and you guys specifically had considerations from the planning commission regarding the existing land use and surrounding zoning. High density development in the floodplain should be considered as it could have the potential for an increased risk for residents. So R1 is the most restricted, supposed to remain R1. And part of what the city ordinance talks about is to protect the R1 residential district as a floodplain impact analysis, environmental impact survey been submitted by the stress sections or by the proposed developer. Do we have any idea of where that water is going to go or what's supposed to happen to this water if they do decide to do a R4H build inside of that property? So that's the question for the board. Do we have any of those documents?
Yeah, this is a rezoning. So right now we're just talking about going from R to R4, R1 to R4. So we haven't seen any drainage calculations. We don't have a preliminary plat or preliminary plan, site plan to look at all the drainage and.
If you approve it tonight, they can start building on it. That's the problem.
No, there's a couple of steps that have to happen. So
Step to the plan commission, so they can begin preliminary construction.
design, they can begin design.
So step 3 is the final.
So
Step
rezoning and then preliminary plat,
Yeah,
they have to present a site plan.
yeah,
The site plan has to be approved. It has to go to the city engineer for review of the drainage calculations.
okay,
And they have to have that before they can do any type of building. And then they come back and there's a final plat once.
yeah, so 5.2.4.
Yeah,
Right.
so there's a couple steps, but this is the rezoning phase of it. So we're really talking about just an overall zoning from R1 to R4.
Okay, so apologize for that.
That's okay, no.
Still looking at,
Sure.
it. I was a little confused about the way. So, first question would be, have you guys considered the fact that it is a floodplain running from north to south? Where's that water gonna go? Cabot patches to the east, that's in county property. To the west is all of the, what I like to call the national subdivisions, towards the Clark subdivision, Silver or something, I can't remember. But then to the south, where we already have drainage problems, is trade winds and consequences. So not only on that, we have what Cabot Future Roads likes to talk about without streets meeting together in the middle, right? So you have trade winds and you have deep trade and you have crosswinds, which forms a step ladder. And the proposed city sketch that they pushed in, it's going to increase that ladder. So if we decide to build Cabot out to the east, that traffic problem is going to create even more of that. So a lot of the questions that I have is bringing to the bottom. I don't think it's a great idea to go from R1 to R4, R4H. And I have a separate question for that later on, but there's a lot of impacts that I don't think are being talked about, mainly the floodplain, mainly the considerations that is for road plan. And then also, has there been an environmental impact study done? So in order for them to begin building on a districts like these, they have to do environmental impact study if it's inside of the floodplain as identified by the federal government, which is what it's identified as. So they haven't presented that study to you guys. I think it should be a flat denial, but that's just me. Stating in the 6 hours that I've dug into this, it's time for research. But I do have one final question. That I may have just lost because I didn't know what about this. Yeah, so they specifically in their application, they talk about condos. So condos are R5 and the Cabot zoning code. They're asking R4H, which is high use multifamily. So there is a distinct difference between condos and apartments. So is that just procedural that needs to be changed and submitted again? Because I feel like if they're asking for what they call condominiums, it should be R4H, it should be considered R5.
Yeah, what's been submitted is R4H, so that's
It's multiple and not condominiums.
high density, that's correct.
Correct, okay. Again, just voicing my opinion, I don't think it's a great idea, with everything that's going on.
Okay,
Open to questions. I'm sorry, I appreciate you guys.
any questions from the commission? Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, sir.
Anyone else here to speak either for or against this item? You can limit it to about 2 minutes here.
I've lived, I'm 39 years old, lived in Cabot. But I was 30 of the 39 years of my life. Recently moved back in 2020 with my family. My wife's a school teacher. My dad would be here, it was selling cars. But my parents live off Kings Road. I live at 33 Tradewood. My name is Casey Moore. When we moved back to Cabot, I looked everywhere in Cabot, where I wanted to live, where I wanted to raise my family, my kids back in school where I grew up, went to school, graduated in 2001. In this area of Cabot that I grew up in, it's one of the most beautiful areas. It's quiet, it's nice. Traffic's getting worse, but you understand that. My parents moved here in 1984. When we built our house, Castle Heights was beautiful. Okay, I used to ride my bike up to Castle Heights. There's been development, and that's to be expected. I want this town to grow just like anyone else, but in the right areas. Our area is not a multi-use apartments in place. It's not that. It's always been a single residence area. We don't live right off 89. Apartments going in right off 89. Any finished apartment. We don't need more apartments like that. We need, I'd like some restaurants for my son's house. Because I'm tired of driving all the way across to get what I need. But I just appeal to you as a homeowner. I live right across the street from this. I've seen this property forever. I knew it was going to come up. But I can see 4 houses. You can put 3 houses with an acre-sized lot. So they're nice houses. One of the problems would look beautiful, would increase the property values of everybody, not just mine, not just Castle Heights, but Brentwood and NASCAR. So that's all I've got. I would just appreciate a complete shutdown on this, because the way I look at it is, if we rezone it now, let's just say put a duplex on. Good for a couple of years. What they tear it down, there's nothing stopping them from going and building 72 dwellings. And that's a lot to wrap my head around. And it's not a personal thing with anybody, but there's nothing stopping it. Once it's there, it's there. So I appreciate it to stay here.
Thank you, Casey. Second, all right, so noted. Anyone else here to speak for this item? Yeah, Charlie.
Fred Lee,
Get a little closer to the mic.
Fred Lee live in that area. Not far from. They're not gonna build. They got to drive by there. They get crashing. They're not getting favored. Right.
Understand.
Might struggle with that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is David Matthews, my wife Gary, we live on Deepwood Circle. most of it, which is just right up the street. And so now we're talking about the condo, the apartments, they're not gonna build. We all know what happens. We all know what happens when you have apartments. They can look pretty the first 2 or 3 years. And they can be kept up if the city makes them keep it up. But still, you're gonna have people moving in and out. We know that. And it's a residential area. It has been for 30 years that I've been. And I'm like, Case, put some houses or maybe I don't even know, maybe a duplex, but it's houses or something with the property value stays the same. We're just here pleading that, we don't do this right in front yard. I don't know where these folks are from, but why don't they put something like that in their company?
Good. Thank you, David.
I mean, I know it's all about money, far enough to know it, 6 and 7, so I know what's going on. We're not ready. So, right.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Anyone else?
I guess I represent Crosswinds Drive,
State your name, if you would.
Charles County, 15. Drive. And I too been here 30 years. Transplanted game. I ain't going back. But I've just heard from my wife. I grandsons in 7th grade. And there's 700 kids in a 7th grade class. And over 800. That's it, the school right here. Okay, we gotta get out across the winds on 321. You got deeper coming out. There's been 4 or 5 accidents right around 321, right in front of Crosswinds Drive since I've been there. 2012, year out of East Main. So traffic's crazy. There's gonna be somebody killed. I can pull it out. Man's headed toward the red light. Some idiot come across that hill and pass me while I get to the red light. That's happened a dozen times. Where's the 45-mile speed zone? You want to put 72 more apartments down there or condos, whatever you call them? How many more kids will be? Case closed.
All right, thank you, Charles. Anyone else? This is a rezoning. Yes.
Hello, Tyra Murray, Horse Drive, so I'm the only one in Silver Creek that I've heard speak up. I lived in that subdivision, and we've owned the house for 12 years.
You said your name was
Tyra
Tyra
Murray.
Murray, okay.
So it will literally be up against my backyard. And I just don't want that environment. I don't want that on my property value, as for the people that are poor that say, oh, it will, downgrade your value. But as the gentleman just spoke, yes, over time it does. Yes, unfortunately, over the time it does bring in certain personalities or characters that you don't want around your children. I've still got at least 6 years before I get the last kid moved out. All y'all understand that. So I'm at least stuck here for 6 to 10 more years until I can hopefully one day get out in the country on my own. So that's just not something I want in my little backyard.
Thank you, Tyra. Appreciate it. Anyone else? All right, I'm going to turn it over to commission now. Any questions from the commissioners?
If I could. So the owners do own it, the ones that are planning development, it's their not a purchase agreement. Sale is pending on. That's what this is probably sorry.
Strays.
They know it's wrong. And the contingency that it will be done. I got it right. It's probably against 300.
One reason I asked, I'm just wondering why this was the plan submitted, if that's not going to be the plan. So that answers that question. But as far as the environmental impact goes, it is zoned R1, but the plan is for it to be offices or quiet office space at some point for the city. which is a lot of concrete and a lot of water runoff. So I don't know that one parking lot versus the other changes that.
And so that requires some EIS, environmental impact study, flood plains.
All of them would, but
Correct.
yeah, equal amount of concrete.
I did that. Yeah.
One parking lot. I'm not asking for it, I'm just asking. One off.
Yeah, let's keep it orderly, guys. Let's keep it going to the microphone each time, okay?
I'm not gonna argue either way. Years ago, I was in a figure language farm ground. Something I learned back then, it's totally, and I don't think it's changed, against the law to change the way a piece of property runs. You cannot do that, I don't care how you do it. And if it drains over here, you may come around here, but it's still got to go there. So whatever we do there, it's not gonna change the way things drain, it's not water to get water. It's gonna go where it's supposed to. It has to.
Yeah,
Can I say something?
yeah, go ahead.
I know what it's like for people to try to want to buy this property. With, they really don't have a certain plan, they just know they want to make a passive income piece of property. But now we you see the concern of the community, I would look maybe tabling it. Coming back with an actual plan. I don't know how fast the people that are trying to sell it have to have a decision. That'll probably make it easier for the whole community. Come back, since you drawn up a sketch of worst case scenario, you know what I'm saying? That's just a thought of tabling it. So, okay.
I would kind of agree with what he said in that, for instance, if you look at that sketch and you just look at the subdivision to the north. If it stays R1, I don't know that these folks are going on. If it stays R1, they can't do anything about the fact that if you built the exact same amount of houses that is on the street to the north, they could put 10 houses on this 3 acres. And so potentially you could come back with small condo type situation or duplex that actually is less than 10 single family dwellings. You know what I'm saying? They could take up less space. They could be what make everybody happy. But when you just throw out there 58 spots or whatever was on here a minute ago, it definitely, you're saying you want one thing, but you're kind of coming with something else.
I totally understand that. Like I said at the very beginning, you need to find out if it is going to be able to rezone the property. Or there, or it, he wouldn't buy a piece of property, when I put a $1 million piece. Build it up there, plan on building.
I was maybe not this property, but I would have a little better plan.
But you don't want to know if you can do it or not. You buy it. That's all we're trying to find out. Now, as far as to that being a rental piece of property, and I don't mean to terrible, realistic. For a period of time, every have people renting. Sooner or later, every neighborhood is going to turn into rental.
Not what we're talking about.
Okay.
I promise you, I ain't quite down there. All right.
What I'm saying,
Yeah, let's,
we're not going to put up anything that's going to be a different.
thank you, Chuck. Or Charlie. One more time. That's it.
It seems, Steve, it seems to me like there's no strategic plan that these people have. And we like the strategic plan that this community has in place. And it's residential. And we would certainly appreciate your all's consideration on the issue, on the fact of zoning, of keeping it residential. That's all we're asking. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's talking about your comment, Commissioner Knacht, the future land use plan had that area as some quiet office business as a future projection of what that might develop into. It is currently all R1. Going to an R4 would essentially be a spot zoning, in my opinion, and from, basically what has been submitted. So that I think we'll go ahead and, if you don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and call for a vote from the commissioners. I got a motion to approve from Commissioner Lowe. Got a second?
Second.
Second, from Commissioner Byrd. Roll call vote, please.
Byrd,
No.
Lowe,
No.
Prater,
No.
Ward, Mounty, Knapp,
All right, that's 6-0. So that is not approved. So it could probably come back as some other type of rezoning, but that's R4 won't happen. So thank you. All right. Thank you all. Let's go to the next item of business.
amendments to the Unified Development Code, section 4.9.23, building design standards for nobles.
All right, Laura. Give everybody a second to gather themselves.
Okay, what you have before you are some revisions to our Unified Development Code, particularly building design standards. As y'all seen in past submittals for variances, we have had different applicants come before you for especially commercial use that has had to ask for variances for their building design standards because what they're proposing does not meet our current regulations that we have. So after discussing with some getting some different input on what would be more traditional or moving forward architectural designs that have come before y'all or now in the architectural industry that are more appealing, that some of the commercial property owners are starting to use. So the first portion of the code is what we currently have. The second portion, what is in red, is what is being proposed to be added or removed or changed. The main components that are being added, if you look under one of the design standards has aluminum composite panels. We're also wanting to add metal composite panels that are just as attractive. Then there's also metal paneling with concealed fasteners. We had that originally limited where you could only have 30% of that on one total area on one facade. Wanted to remove that to allow metal paneling with concealed fasteners that are just can have the same look. Then we wanted to change what we had originally called just metal siding to include it to stating metal panel siding with exposed fasteners. And then add an addition of the wood veneer looking panels, which are just as attractive as other types of materials. Those are the main components that we were just wanting to add so that this commission won't see, I will not say that you will not see variances on building design standards, but these are bringing our building design standards more up to date with what architects are designing, what developers for commercial buildings are wanting to use, and that are just as appealing as what a brick facade would be. So those are the revisions for the building design standards that you have. Any questions? I'll be glad to answer what I can.
If I may add to Laura's comment, as you guys have seen, almost every month we see a waiver on exterior envelopes. We've seen metal panels. It was just more of a clarification that there are some metal panel exterior walls that are high quality materials such as ACM or even wood veneer looking metal panels that are really attractive looking. And what we were trying to avoid with the exposed fastener metal panel was the actual sort of warehousey looking siding, that has the exposed fasteners on it. So it's just to promote and ensure a good high quality material for projects that are built in Cabot. So we might see a little bit fewer of those requests come through, but that's a little bit of background on that. Any questions from the commissioner?
Yeah, if we don't limit the percentage of the facade on these aluminum composite panels or metal composite panels, then we can have building structures come in that is totally built 100% with just this one metal with no deviation.
That's correct. For instance, a car dealership with a really nice ACM metal panel. It's a super high quality, very polished looking, material to use on the front of a building. It could be that in glass. So. For some reason, the UDC kind of favored brick as like, it's not a building unless it has brick. So it just kind of opens it up to more options for architects and developers and builders. Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve the amendments to the UDC.
Make the motion to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Mowdy. Second, Commissioner Ward. Roll call vote, please.
Bird,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Howdy. Yes. Knapp.
Yes.
All right, that's approved 6-0. Thank you. Laura or Kim, gonna do the next item C.
Amendments to the Unified Development Group, Section 5.4.2 streets.
Laura?
Okay, this is another amendment to the Unified Development Code as well under the street section. Again, I showed you the current code as it stands, and then the second page and the third page would be what the revised code that we're proposing, which is adding the last two sections to the street guidelines for developments. The first section is for developments for 1 and 2 family dwellings that would require 2 separate entrances if the homes that are being proposed in are more that exceed 30 dwelling units, then they have to provide a second entrance. That would be an entrance that would be a public street right away that would access the property. And then the second proposal is for multifamily residential projects that have more than 100 dwelling units would have to provide 2 separate and improved egress access to the property as well. So both of them would have to meet the design standards for the city requirements as well. So those are the 2 additions to the street guidelines you're proposing.
Thank you, Laura. Any questions? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the UDC amendment. A motion from Commissioner Prater. Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Lowe. Roll call vote, please.
Bird,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Prater.
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Howdy. Knapp.
All right, that's approved 6-0. Thank you. All right, we're going to close the public hearing at 7:38 and go into new business. Kim, you know, the first item.
Final plat, lot 1, Standard Oil, Commercial Park, consulting engineers.
Laura?
Just like the applicant from the variance, the applicant did send an email to our office today asking for the final plat to be tabled until they know the planning commission.
All right, since we have that one, can we vote on both of these at the same time, or do we need to vote on each of them separately? Ben? Separate, okay, gotcha. All right, got a motion to table. Commissioner Lowe and a second from Commissioner Knapp. Roll call vote, please.
Bird,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Howdy.
Yes.
Knapp.
All right. That one is tabled. Item B.
Site plan, lot 1, standard oil commercial park, Cabot consulting engineer.
Motion to table, Commissioner Lowe, and a second from Commissioner Prater. Roll call vote, please.
Bird,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Prater.
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Dowdy. Knapp,
All right, 6-0 again to table that one. Item C, Kim.
preliminary plat, Wolfsbridge at Cabot, phase 1B, Joe White and Associates.
Laura.
Okay, this is a preliminary plat for a 13 lot subdivision, which is Wolf's Bridge phase 1B, which is currently located just south of the intersection of Highway 321 and Highway 89. This property may look familiar because you have already approved phase 1A of this subdivision. This is just an extension of the lots to access Highway 89 for this property. The property itself, this phase, is about 3.8 acres. And again, they're proposing 13 single family homes. The lots that are located on the north side of the road are zoned R1. The 5 lots located on the south of the street or zone R2S. They have met all the contingency items that were addressed in the tech review packet. So the applicant is here to represent if you have any questions as well.
Okay.
Chairman, if I can,
Yeah, if we could note that the Commissioner Connect is recusing himself from this item. Yes.
Good evening, Brian Dale with Joe White and Associates. Laura did a great job introducing the project. It is basically the extension of phase 1A out to Highway 89 to fulfill the agreement that we did not take access to the existing subdivision. This phase was originally held out because we have a water district boundary right at the phase line, and we had to meet with Grand Prairie Bio to, I believe is their name, to work out an agreement to get the fire flows to meet this, the fire flows that are required for this single family development. It's now that we have that worked out, we're bringing it through for approval. Be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Any questions for the commission? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the preliminary plat. Commissioner Lowe, approval, and the second, Commissioner Byrd. Roll call vote, please.
Bird,
Yes.
Lowe,
yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Dowdy.
That preliminary plat is approved 5-1. All right, next item on the agenda. Kim. Thank you, Brian.
Preliminary plat, fire and stone clinic, limits engineering.
Laura.
And this is a preliminary plat for a 2-lot commercial subdivision, lot 1A and 1B. It is located on West Main Street, just west of the Deer Creek Fire and Stone Restaurant. Actually, the plat encompasses this lot for the restaurant itself. The total acreage and size is approximately 1.6 acres. Again, this is just a commercial green plat, a commercial preliminary plat for a 2-lot commercial subdivision. There are a couple outstanding items on the tech review staff report that the applicant did not fully address, that staff feels that are minimal items that can be addressed by the applicant. Got any questions? I can answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Laura. Tim, is there anything you want to add to Laura's introduction?
No, sir. Unless there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Commissioners have any questions? If none, I'd recommend a motion to approve the preliminary plat.
Motion to approve.
A motion from Commissioner Byrd, second from Commissioner Knapp. Roll call vote, please.
Bird,
Yes.
Lowe,
Yes.
Prater,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Howdy, Knapp,
Yes.
All right, preliminary plat is approved 6-0.
Mr. Chairman, we also had a site plan. Is that being done at staff level?
The site plan, yes, Laura, shake her head.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Have a blessed
Thank you.
night.
Yes, sir. You too. Let's go to community input. Anyone remaining want to add anything? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn? Get a motion from Commissioner Prater. All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all. We'll see you next month.
You're only gonna say.